Hello, dear YouTube and dear Facebook and dear YouTube and Species Value Nature System. And for example, this is 50.com and Twitter. These are recorded online platforms involved with it, facilitated to database crimes roles by FBI as victims, with market positions as victims, other nations, police, other agencies in collusion, nations individually grouped and together as the nature of volume. What is an algorithm? What is first you have to understand what the algorithm is, which is truth with not one exception exploited, being exploited or exploited directly. And this is what we have American history about is a database tied organized crime method using the identity of the ground and using the identity of each person and using the identity of our founders with no free speech. It is criminally foreign influence and delusions wrought time treatments with uses of, for example, of semantics and of rhetoric. To say that's just, with sensibilities, where we have the needs to protract court free speech and have integrity, allow demonstrated integrity. They're using laws and statutes that are truths as means to lie, hiding how they're faking the evidences to pretend those are being used truth. In other words, they're using truth and facts as lies, pretending that's about judicial independence, pretending that's about free press criminally, because they're stealing identities. That's not free press. That's criminal uses of words like rhetoric, like communications, like semantics, about the function of words. See, we had this obfuscated since ancient times for criminal insidiousness natures legalized, speaking for the law as liars, calling other people liars because they have to pretend at the same time simultaneously that their integrity. There were child abuse raised this way, the same way that overt criminal enterprises are. They're in collusion with interbranch and private tied to them, intercampuses, crime method rules. Now, I hate to use the word crime. That's because they have streams in courts every day with people they're torturing. That's why they're not supposed to torture. They're supposed to steal people's identities. They sustain uses of criminal of the lies, the sensibility of the areas that those whole narratives go away when you follow mandated law and report the various natures of courts and their family members criminally involved with the various natures of police forms in collusion, interbranch family members that wouldn't pretend was pretended on family on the paper in collusion with them. A whole bunch of people tied to former Mayor Gold and his family recorded and confessed crimes with various natures of police forms, interbranch, and judges through time, attaching kids to fake relationships to others. These are people facilitating crime acts roles, not just Washington, D.C. and Trade Center attack tied to areas. These are with agreements with psychology drugs and with a whole bunch of database crime, how to handle things that are criminally foreign influenced, their takes on it. That's recorded because they're not following mandated law. There were wire crime methods, mail crime methods, and evidence perjury crime acts and roles in cases and leading up to them with depositions in relationship to their roles with the crime acts with the natures and crime methods through family members even. There are a whole bunch of people associated with Lance Cuddy, also recorded and confessed involved with this. There's a Joshua Julian who's recorded and confessed involved with interbranch police and with Facebook crimes, with a principal child offenders campus, with further child offenders associated with that, and people abuses of women after the years of it. No, they had them timed little positions to make them realize they know me, pretend they know me, and they had like acting to girls they abused a whole bunch of ways. Women involved with this interbranch. They're brothers of the girls abused. They had shared boyfriends and stuff like that with the Trade Center attack tied to the areas with crime acts in cases further recorded, confessed, and demonstrated tied to as one's crime acts with CCSU, with Trinity College through time on off those campuses. With evidence, pretend vetting and things like that. They're mixing that with standing uses of right to life for criminal, which for a method that's keeping states and areas criminally foreign influence, criminal uses of the Wethersfield Police Department of its Facebook page, like little punks starting fights and calling people names and backgrounds, forging names, switching names, mail crime acts rolls, crime acts, criminal uses of lawyers, crime rolls with the courts, non-separation of these states and areas inclusion, hiding this from presidents, keeping presidents' roles. That fake theater positive that these politicians speak, not fake branches lead fall. So I'm going to talk to you about their behavior crimes. See if I should get behavior there. They have to lie about my behavior. The sequence shift show them as fake care, sick justice, aggression, and as calm sick natures, as another nature of theater. In other words, there is only one nature that nature acts. See, method acting is a negative value nature. This is complete nature. This method acting is with physical delusions. This is the by the identity that ratiocination and that pseudo ratiocination share simultaneously. This is about the identity logic shares as a/the nature of volume with its own nature of identity. We are the nature of volume to see this, how each individual is the individual nature of volume, simultaneously as a grouped age, sex, area, grouped nature of volume, simultaneously with what is value to and as the species nature of volume, simultaneously as the value of each person, which is unceasingly positive or negative more being created as our temporary positive. So we have to be able to discern temporary positive logic as criminal insidiousness needs to make positive out of negative, how it needs to do it distinctly from logic as nature with no criminal foreign influences, with no physical delusions, with no states and areas maintained, roles with life progressions, crime uses of each age of campus on and off them with crime methods, maintaining streams in courts each day, maintained by roles with quality of fact treatment nature everywhere where it's critical, sick, and other as roles and natures and means facilitated to hide that. For example, why they're valuing so much people who give their time, they say to help the homeless. They have those sensibilities of their life progressions. These are people. These are courts originally, and still these are identities of law interbranch originally still life progression, cover up natures, victim predator tool, weapons, breaching screens, pseudo positive, tactically criminally foreign influence sciences, victim predators that way. Worse though, everyone blaming the real causes of it, other things other than self. No one heard voice. That's not value voting in left criminally foreign influenced identity, the ground relationships, fact treatment nature value. We have an ancient campus. We have the quality of fact treatment nature that valued our species as nature of volume as what's going to cause positive or negative value nature progressions, as what is true always, and not denying and hiding and exploiting hidden criminal exceptions. You have people fighting to say they're black or white. They're both criminally preventing our the discernments capable of someone using how we are nature of volume, individually grouped in species at once. That prohibits that from being demonstrated through lifetimes. No. As a quality of fact, treatment nature knave, how could you pretend to be a care about areas? See, they don't care about areas. They want to use black as personal for counters that where everyone was only let capable of fathoming blaming on other causes, things themselves. That's the crime method, where there's a completely a fact-cheaping nature racket, where we have branches originally and still entertaining things like that. President Obama don't even know how to speak. In other words, awestruck as as who we care about in relationship to Jim Crow laws. Everyone's see they put thematic things. They have everyone locked into and as quality of fact sheet in nature that can't defend itself, and also at the same time, everyone's facilitated to nave convictions, quality of fact premise treatment natures, quality of sequence shift natures, quality of convictions by the value of our founders with their identities stolen, not by accident, insidiously that glorified. That's valued, needed by fake natures, interbranch formally, originally, and still interscience of forgiveness is for this. Fake branches bow and fall. Go right now. It's time. Build the wall. We need federal stewardship of Connecticut. See, they want to have conversations about sensibility, AB behavior with sequence shifts, with their identity theft crime acts roles, with their abuses of each age of fact nature demonstrated to people, and that outlet hold on. Because they're keeping the identities of the law all in roles with identity, all areas identity of the ground. They're keeping that used criminally, for what keeps areas and states and areas criminally foreign influence not allowed to talk to at the same time. This is what they duck behind. For example, how we have shared policing of our stores, the facades of our businesses, in a path in and as a pathology with valuing and glorifying zoning laws used to torture our founders, used for their fact-cheaping nature slavery. If they were found out to be trying to orchestrate people building outside of the pathology of infrastructure they forced, no, right across the world, semi-unsafe, not by accident. Pathology, tactically denatured relationship to nature, landscape theater, and or overtly tactically denatured, but tactically denatured everywhere to maintain the negative value nature progressions, acts, and natures, blame the other things others themselves. It's a position of the ancient gaming system that Native Americans were here at the same time as Africans, for example. Regardless, in other words, for example, because Africa did all the countries. For example, in relationship to how all those countries are ducking with what is a whole every modern nation is an identity of negative value nature progression, self-valuing it, suits and ties. A little minority took over internation sciences from every culture. They're still criminally incompetent, not letting one body hear what needs to be heard to explain what slavery was about, to explain what modern nations' history is really about. Our history is stolen in our face by people who know the most facts. They can't defend themselves from correlation natures simultaneously inherent active and progressive means. Just to know the simple thing what James Madison did. And then Marbury versus Madison, even he didn't have free speech in that to great extent. The page indents. Tell presidents, be chiefs, suspend beliefs, believe, but other course. I'll drop the force boxings, even the force. They say, oh, that's this movie. The source alone is surging through all things that are obfuscating. This is about the complete identity. Its complete identity of relationship to itself. And the value of that as what is going to cause positive value nature progressions, action natures here, evolutions, fruits, and gifts, or force that from here to go. It leaves of Hades. Attend. Campus Marcius calls you home again. Ancient gaming system. This sway you too. So they make opinions about behavior recorded sequence shift crime rolls as crime rolls with courts preventing mandated law from demonstrating this. Because then they bring things before them and they criminally use time too fast, too slow, and make mistakes on purpose and make things up into databases, forging names, switching names. Other natures of drug crime rolls, formal and with the gangs, with overt criminal enterprises, crime acts rolls with them and their family members, facilitated to it originally still. That's why we have such a little world and such a big world simultaneously. Now, is to seize from the complete means, or both that is bad, negative value nature. Yeah, since same ancient times, just reminds. We have interreligious cliques recorded insidiously, you know, fake with that together, and then pretend about who's good people. And so now everyone's speaking about debatable. Now they're using wire crimes, mail crimes, and crime acts and methods that originally and still keep precedents, criminally foreign influenced. High predators pertain to all what we have to follow the crimes. How many crimes, Ron, formally interbranch, facilitated, exploited, with the standing victim predator reactions, Oz, with every nature of city, including suburbs, especially regarding this, because this, if you don't understand the organized crime method using the suburbs in the city simultaneously, that's why they put color 4. So we wouldn't be able to speak this. We would self-defend and self-value roles with passions and with emotions to another value nature system's course as negative value nature progressions, acts, and natures like criminal and seditious nature. Excuse me, like wrongdoers, like with wrongdoing, like with predicate acts being caused. These are organized crime terms because this is an organized crime method they used from that was an internation organized crime method. A, a geo-human nature of volume organized crime method. Whereas how our fact treatment nature was his value to a course, that this knew that if it could make what it did from some ancient times since before modern religions, if it could make people defend the quality of fact treatment nature roles and quality of sciences other than this, it would cause negative value nature progressions, acts, and natures that they can maintain self-value. And they can maintain the causes that are blamed on other things others themselves. And they can do exactly what they did. They wrought the pathology of what is now the phenomena of modern nations founded sub rosa still criminally foreign influenced. Criminal insidiousness nature propagation tool per a method that keeps this self cultivated, self valued, fear. I speak alone of law. I tell you here, I'm not even a lawyer, not police form, not criminal. Vaccines, the science share an identity. You see, the sequence shifts reveal. We have passions, we have sequence shifts. We have behavioral crimes. We have recorded originally and still this method using types of experts in relation to the types of crimes that are facilitated, valued by how each age of fact treatment nature, each age of correlation nature, simultaneously delicate and simultaneously strong means, is simultaneously forced to value instead of using that, using fake sides of correlation nature, fake middles, physical delusions, intersciences, criminally foreign influence, private interbranch and collusion with intercampuses, with method off the ground of education consciously, then on off campuses, since before all types of them. This did this nation's A through Z missing it. Colonists A through Z missing it. Before this, and with it, and as the value of it, tribes A through Z missing it. Tribal members A through Z missing it. Whether people are recognized or by tribe or not, the truth is neither pure. Know that for sure. the one that causes positive value nature progressions, action nature is using the ground too. Doesn't leave out the ground. I pound on drum the pound. They pound the native drum. That means become. Now one has liberated our course. They ask every day. They lie in each science. What really led us into World War I was not shooting at a boat. If it was that, if you want to make that argument, they left out not by accident what George Washington left entrenched in Connecticut, with overt slavery, with the various nature who could learn how to read, who can't, and the science by that, the science by what is positive, by our emotions and passions converted to pseudo-positive, standing criminal and seriousness natures, then sensibility natures. Only capable of discerning it like that, trying to figure out ways to think about everyone quality, fact, cheaping nature, preventing free speech from demonstrating our correlation nature simultaneously with sequence true, inherent, active, and progressive means. And by what means beyond this still, religion fail, be child tribes. Yes, yes. I'll realize to gain the gain. Who train? Campus Marcius calls you home to gain. And again, to gain again. Return. Campus Marcius calls you home to learn. These other campuses lie. Campuses lie. Each database holds lies. The identity of the ground has an identity of relationship to itself as a nature of leverage that is before the bond of planets. While being it, while being the value from it, and progressively as a nature of volume that stays here or that is forced from here as a relationship to itself. And this is science, pure and true, always. Who prays? And many pray. Each day, attend. Campus Marcius calls you home again. Also, Park Street, if anyone knows Lena's Pizza, I want to know, there's a Daryl Sullivan involved with this. Because this is intercampuses through time. These are people involved with forensics clicks, with all kinds of natures of medical corruption, foreign and domestic, uses of untimely deaths, all kinds of criminal uses of kids. And you don't know who they're going to hurt because they need to hide life progressions. Part of the reasons we have our differences and demonstration of what's going to how we're supposed to defend each difference simultaneously, or we're going to have negative value nature progressions demonstrate why. In other words, we have self-value. What really is hurting women has them roles with it. It's a fact treatment, which has the fact treatment nature using the identity of everything, all theater. Care if this person wrote a book like that. Don't exploit exceptions. You gotta follow mandated law. WFSB. See, these are people that were facilitated to Climax roles with the Trade Center with a whole bunch of other nations. What facilitated that is consciously exploiting how nations are forced grouped by nature, but then through a sick system exploiting that and forcing us to value an ill nature of how we are forced by nature, individual, grouped, and together. And the nature of that group is yin yang. For example, I used to teach this. Excuse me, simultaneously with alpha and omega. And this is about this nature of correlation nature, by and as the identity of value that our nature of volume is, as the Trinity is, with two more semi-natures with it too. As one see the cross. What's up, brother? How are you, cross? It is good to see you. So this is about American history's lost actual American history's actual course, which is about it begins with Wethersfield, Connecticut, right between Hartford, Hartford, right next to Hartford and Wethersfield. It begins here, and with the American history. That's why George Washington had to come to Wethersfield, Connecticut, right before the last battle of the Revolutionary War. Even with the French generals' help, George could only semi-counter extort that which had overt slavery, all kind of crazy laws against everyone, slavery, fact cheating into slavery, but with color. In the North too. This is right between New York and Boston. New York had all kinds of crazy abuses of everyone. And see now where that is, where there were distinctions with that, those were exceptions being set up where this was completely a fact cheating nature racket roll, where they would invest people to lie progression roles, blaming the real causes of this on other things other than themselves. The real causes of it being in the organized crime method that had that entertained as law in the first place. Quality of fact cheating nature roles, pretending to be able to have free speech, but not having it. With free speech, we have means to show, first of all, that we have election crimes already. That had nothing to do with whoever wins. It has to do with acts. They're forcing it being about people first, because how the branches individually grouped and together are filtered. Crime rolls with overt criminal enterprises, private ones, and other nations' police juxtaposed. Military crime acts rolls, criminal uses of the ground together rolls, intercampuses uses rolls as a method that keeps database solution stacking, keeps everyone knaves, formally pretending our nature is their evil is our nature naturally, but it's not. The more people should be here talking about this. I know, but I hope some people should find, because we could change the world this way. Thank you, Cross. And this is what we're going to do. We're going to make the identity, and we're going to use the identity. This is what the Santa Claus is about. There are proofs, for example, in relationship to since semi-ancient times, criminally foreign influence sciences, all victim predator roles with the law fake. Everyone blaming the real causes of other things other than themselves, but I'm saying not by accident. This is, in other words, the devil's an organized crime method. The devil's a human fact cheating nature breaching organized crime method. The quality of our human fact cheating nature is directly related to the Campus Marcias, which is inseparable from and has the value of the ground. Okay, thank you, Cross, for stopping by. And have a great night. Thank you for watching the video. I'm gonna end this video now too. Thanks, Cross. Good to see you. And thank you, YouTubers, whoever watches the video. Go see the Cross, his videos. Good night.